Alright, time for another DraftPhysics.com. DebatePhysics.com also. And I'll reiterate. Okay, there's thousands of videos. And some of what I would regard as the better videos are available on those websites. And some of them are very short, very direct and pointed arguments. So lots of opportunity to discuss physics in some sort of coherent way has been provided. And you can argue the actual argument, not your ridiculous paraphrases of the arguments and such. But in this video, I will redundantly go over some stuff because people have commented. I'll respond to their comments, assuming there's some element of sincerity in what they're doing, in terms of disagreeing, but they won't stay on the subject, and I'll demonstrate that because it will be incredibly redundant. Demonstrating they really don't care to know the actual arguments and to argue them as they have been presented. That's what they won't do. All right, so yeah, comment video. So let's get on with the show. What's the point of linking to any evidence? Well, the point is that it makes your argument for you. So if you have some evidence, link to it. I will show the link and say, okay, fine. This is their argument. Now, the only thing they've linked to so far are these Brozosian amateur experiments that are on tiny margins. Okay, none of the experiments are showing 5 times the velocity, 25 times the energy, or 10 times the velocity, 100 times the energy. Nothing like that. So those are the experiments that would decisively prove something. Instead, they're doing the 4-2 thing and trying to say, well, look, it's 3.1. 3.1 is closer to 4 than it is to 2, therefore. So they get results that don't come out consistent with either theory, and because it's more consistent, their error is more consistent with one than the other, they claim that's an absolute proof. Now that's what's called junk, garbage, trash, poo science. Okay, that's rubbish as science, or as reasoning and logic. It's garbage is what it is. All right, anyway, if it doesn't come out your way, so again, it comes out the way it is, okay, and then all you can do is argue the credibility of it. So the fact that Eddington did his experiment, and there's all kinds of evidence that glass slides were removed from the process of evaluation because they were not consistent with what he wanted to prove. So, there's lots of absolute proofs. His own journal, he says, I wouldn't stake my life on these results. In his own journal, he says, I got 1/10 of the data quality I was hoping for. He says directly, I was hoping for 10,000 stars per slide, and he got 1,000. Those are facts, okay, that give a reasonable person a right to say foul. Okay, you're going to tell me it's an absolute truth based on that? Well, I don't have to accept that. And then they tell you that quarks exist. They show you no experimental data demonstrating them to exist. They tell you that Stern-Gerlach is measuring electron spin, and there's no logic. You watch the experiment, I don't see no frickin' electrons doing anything. I mean, it's all rubbish. Okay. It's automatically garbage, crap, forced, manipulated, etc. Well, it's not automatic. I like the Brozo experiment. I said very innovative. He cut the sides off of a cue ball. So he wanted to make a half mass. And he wanted to keep the experiment fair and consistent. And so he reasoned that he could cut the sides off of one of them and it would still roll exactly the same. So, very clever. He did the experiment with a lever and got results that, are very close. 19-1 is very close to 20. To 0. So, you want to have the argument? Let's argue that experiment. And then you can explain to me why it's so far off of your prediction and so very close to mine. All right, for the last couple of years, people have shown you directly crystal clear evidence. So this is the lie. So there's a point where, I'm just going to block you because that's a lie. This isn't crystal clear evidence. And you know it. I mean, and the lie experiments, like where this spar didn't understand how pendulum swinging this far and another pendulum swinging this far. He puts a milk carton in one place for both experiments and says, yes, I'm proving that at the same location, I'm testing how much energy they have. When obviously the arc is a huge difference. And so for one object, it's already lost half of its velocity before it hits the carton, and the other object's only lost 10% of its velocity when it hits the carton. Clearly unfair experiment, clearly rubbish, and he left it up. So if you're going to keep saying this lies, I'm going to keep telling the truth. And the truth is, they don't care when they've made a huge, gigantic mistake. They leave the video up as if it's a truth. I mean, the fucking moron, what's his name? Gosling, made a video where he said, something that's thrown off a cliff goes 4 times as far. Now, it was totally wrong. And he asserted it as an absolute fact. And he didn't even take the video down and say, oh shit, I made a stupid mistake. He left it up. So, with the same dopey title, I'm proving something. He's proving he's an idiot. So, fuck you. These people aren't scientists. They're petty weasels trying to score points against me, personally. And that's it. Alright, it's not the same energy. Okay. That momentum is not the same as energy. So there's no proof. There's no fucking experiment. So link me to your best experiment proving this shit. And I'll play it again and I'll show how it's an absolute steaming pile of crap as science. Liar. So post the fucking link, you liar. Whether it's done by actual scientists with expensive equipment. Oh, so it doesn't matter whether you do it really clinically and well, or you just sit there and use a string and tin cans. Oh, fuck you, it doesn't matter. All right. It doesn't matter, you always assume something. No, show me the one clinically done. Show me. As I recall, when the Mythbusters did the experiment, semi-clinically, all your fans all went hysterical. Oh, it cheated. It's the wrong angle. This is wrong. This is wrong, wrong, wrong. All kinds of pleas. Oh, yeah, they did so wrong. They're so stupid. Because you didn't like the results, right? And clearly you had nothing to say when they crashed the 2 cars because, frankly, there's nothing you can say. There's no way they could fuck that up. And it's decisive evidence. It's not like a little bit. There's not even an indication of anything more than just twice the car damage at twice the speed. Nothing. Anyway. All right, so because it simply doesn't come out your way. So you're just such a duplicitous hypocrite. It doesn't, because exactly, if I show you evidence that doesn't fit with your crap, you'll claim that somehow it was wrong. So show me what was wrong with the car crash evidence they produced. Show how it's an unfair contest. I mean, I would have preferred they did 50 miles an hour and 10 miles an hour. But 50 and 100. The 100-mile-an-hour crash did not show 4 times the damage. Absolute fact. It doesn't matter how many times they adjust their setups based on the flaws you discover. And they're real flaws. So again, just lie some more. Like they aren't real flaws. When, yes, they are. The camera angle thing is a big flaw. Measuring heights incorrectly, a big flaw. The results always match with conventional science. That's such a lie. I mean, disgusting lie. The results are crap. Right in the middle. That was Brozo's, one of Brozo's famous experiments, was he got the answer that was dead right in between the two and claimed victory. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was so stupid. But of course, according to you, it always remains flawed and garbage. So this is just a waste of time. Fucktard. All right. Let's see. So he's going to keep saying it. All right. So, yeah, maybe I just block you. This is just all lying. Okay, so he said dozens of elastic collisions have been shown to you, so fuck that. They really haven't. They're all super elastic experiments done with fucking goddamn springs, and I just did a video explaining how springs are bullshit. Okay, you can't use this energy stored in the spring because lighter objects are not going to collect enough energy from the spring, the same amount, the same percentage. All right, from various scientists all over the world. Okay, again, and none of these have anything to do with anything close to demonstrating 5 times the force equals 25 times the energy. None of them. Nothing anywhere close to doing the experiment that needs to be done. All right, so I'm not gonna read it. Okay, this is just, you're such a fucking liar. All right, crystal clear evidence has been presented regarding not Newton's cradle. So again, just a fucking lie. Absolute bullshit. All right, this fucking guy doesn't know how to set up his goddamn timing gates. They're not even round objects. He's got fucking goddamn cardboard taped to things. He puts fucking goddamn 53 pounds on top of a Matchbox car and then says, yeah, it's a valid experiment. Bullshit. All right, this is a direct prediction of the kinetic energy form. Oh, so this is just a bullshit. Okay, fuck you. You're done. Yeah, this is not even. You're not even trying to be fair at all. So fuck you. I mean, not to concede that half the experiments had catastrophic flaws in them, and they never even conceded or took the videos down. The ones that were grotesquely flawed. You lying scum. All right. Let's see. Wrong about the car going faster. Oh, I already did that. Yeah, I don't know why it jumps all the way down. Don't know why it does that. No, take a little pause. Yeah, I should also point out that there's all the experiments they haven't shown us. So Brozo did a bunch of clay experiments he never showed because they weren't coming out his way when he was penetrating the clay. So when he didn't figure out it was just about denting clay, not penetrating clay, he was getting the wrong answer. Okay, and so he didn't show us those penetrated clay videos because they weren't coming out his way. And then he went through extensive detail when he started denting clay. So he didn't understand the difference between those two things, penetration and denting. And then, like I said, all of them. You can just go through all the experiments we didn't see. Now, Gosling conceded, when he did accidentally did a 10-ton train into a 5-ton train, he conceded, oh yeah, it doesn't look like the 5-ton train has more, the 5 mass versus the 10 mass going half the speed has more energy. So he's conceding the arguments, but see, those experiments you don't pay any attention to because they're not coming out their way. So again, your duplicity is just so obvious. They don't bother showing you the experiments that don't come out their way. Duh. Okay. So, mathematically predict the acceleration due to gravity at the surface of the Earth using the mass and radius of the Earth. Well, I'd have to have more than that, wouldn't I? I'd have to have the gravitational constant, wouldn't I? So why would I want to do this? All right, so I'll just read the rest of this, and I'll go through the logical spiel that just debunks all of this so easily. Any answer around 911 meters per second squared would be good. Why would I want any second squared? What is the point of saying second squared? It doesn't mean anything. It has no value. It's 9.8 meters, right? 9 to 11, he says, per 1 second. That's the ratio. It's only 9.8 in 1 second units. If you make it some other amount of time, a half second or a second and a half, you have to change the 9.8. Retard. Okay, I'm able to get 9.813 meters per second squared. Again, for no reason, the squared seconds is there. For no reason. So everything he's saying here is fine, except for the second squared. There's no use for it. It doesn't mean anything. It's just absolutely wrong. Using the same acceleration for your personal rate, you can calculate the mass. Yeah, it's totally unremarkable. For reference, so again, I've pointed out that I can just turn a scale sideways and give something momentum, and if I give it enough momentum to read its actual weight, it'll turn out that that velocity is standard for every single object I throw at the scale, indicating that this is a standard. Momentum is a standard. Everything falls at the same rate because everything collects enough force to compensate for its mass. So if I move an elephant into the scale and it weighs an elephant's weight, it means it had to apply a ton of force because it's a ton of mass. So I had to move a huge mass 1 mile an hour. Let's say it's 1 mile an hour. I believe it is. So the velocity you have to move something into a scale sideways to read its weight is 1 mile an hour. And it's the same 1 mile an hour for a mouse as it is an elephant. And they'll weigh their gravitational weight if I give them that velocity, proving that gravity is just giving you momentum. 100-pound object surface of the Earth about 4. Real physics can calculate and predict the answers to these questions. So can and my physics can do it. And it'll do it without squaring any seconds because there's no reason to do it, retard. All right. So this other asshole says, what are your thoughts on the ideas of conservation of energy? Which is hilarious, right? Because I've only been arguing extensively in almost in every video, pointing out how they're the ones violating conservation. They're the ones violating Newton's third law. Clearly, I do not think you can create a force bit and you cannot destroy one. Likewise for electrons and protons. So you're out of luck making matter or making energy. Additionally, out of curiosity, do you have any personal religious, fuck you in the ass till dead? Yeah, of course I don't have any religious beliefs. Shit. I mean, just so fucking... I actually have a website called Do Not God. Okay, so yeah, don't waste your time on that rubbish. Alright, so... momentum is all there is. You can't even calculate what happens in simple collision or momentum alone. So yes, you can. You always need something else. No, you don't. So again, it's just silly to say it when there's absolutely no circumstance. I said, show me the circumstance where momentum gets the wrong answer, and I'll show you how it got the right answer. Because momentum is the thing that has to be conserved. Momentum is the only thing that is exchanged between objects. An 8-pound ball going 16 miles an hour, a 16 ball going 8 miles an hour will transfer exactly the same momentum to the pins. They can't. The 8-pound ball can't give the pins something more. It can only give the pins the momentum it has. So you don't even know the reason is you are arguing against something you don't understand. Yeah, fuck you. Silly ghost character. Alright, so let's summarize all three of these with, and we'll just do the gravity argument one more time. Because there's just nothing in their logic that you can make any sense out of in terms of what the implications of what it is they're saying, you know, which is, you know, I put 1 pound on a scale, it reads 1 pound. I put a second 1 pound object on the same scale right next to the other 1 pound, and somehow, okay, now it reads 2 pounds, but somehow that's 4 times the energy. So the first pound was 1 unit of energy, and when I put the second pound on, it did exactly the same work. I got 3 units of energy. That's their theory, and it's ridiculous. All right, and it's based on this misunderstanding of gravity. So, all right, let's see. That's probably not where I want it. Let's move it over here. Okay, so we're going to drop. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it over here. Okay, so we're going to drop 4 pounds. I'll make it bigger. All right. 1 unit of distance, that is 1 unit of time, okay, in this case, for it. And then we're going to drop 1 pound, okay, 4 units of distance. All right, so simple enough, right? We got a 4 pounds, and we got a 1 unit of mass, 4 units of mass, okay. Maybe I'll draw velocities in a different color. Okay, so we know that we're going to do it in, we've already figured this out, that this distance is going to be 1 second, okay, not a second squared, just 1 second, and it will travel 4.9 meters. All right, so those are the known facts. That's what we're starting with. And when it hits the ground, it will be going a velocity of 9.8 meters per second, per 1 second. Okay, now this is going to do exactly the same thing in 1 second. So in 1 unit of time, all right, 1 second, all right, it's going to fall 4.9 meters, all right, and it's going to be going 9.8. Now we know meters per second. Whoops, I was supposed to do that. Well, it's good that it's off the screen, because I can do it right. So we know when it reaches this point, okay, it'll be going 9.8 meters per 1 second. All right, that's going to be its velocity. So they both have the same velocity, and clearly this will have 4 times the energy. So it's 4 times heavier. So they're going the same exact speed. This one has 1 mass, this one has 4 mass. So this is going to be 4 times as much energy. Right? So far, if I made this the ground for this object, okay, this has 1/4 of the energy this had. Now I'm going to let it fall, okay, another 1 second, okay, so it's just 1 second of time. And it's obviously, you can understand that if there was no gravitational force, if I turned off gravity and just let it continue with the 9.8 it has, we know that's going to travel 2 units of 4.9. So I'm going to get 2 units of 4.9, and I don't have to add any more force at all. Those are just going to happen in the next second because it's going 9.8. So it's going to travel 9.8 in 1 second for free. No force required. And the only new energy that's going to be added is going to be here. And so it's going to be 4.9 meters. That's all the distance that it will add, that it wasn't going to do anyway. So this is the only thing being added by turning gravity on. I'm just going to make 4.9 happen again. And I'm just going to be now adding again 9.8 increase to the velocity. So I give it another 9.8 meters per second. And I end up with 19.6, which is perfectly sensible. 2 units of velocity. Now it's your argument that I got 3 units of energy here. Okay, so I got 3/4. That's your argument. When no, it's just 1 second in the gravity. The gravity only gave it 1 second worth of gravitational boost or acceleration. The velocity is only twice, so it's twice the time. Oh, can't really write there because can't see it. So it's twice the time. Okay, twice the velocity. I'd argue it's obviously going to be twice the weight. And those are the facts. I mean, I've tested the weight experiment, so again, it's just a matter of we have to find somebody else who's done the experiment, and nobody does these experiments. But that's what's under contention. They're somehow claiming, see, they're saying, I think they concede it's going to be twice the weight, because it's only twice the momentum. So that's where we're stuck. Is, how could it increase its momentum by 3 units? It can only increase it by 1, and it's only can be half the force of the 4 mass going 1 unit of distance. It can't be equal because it doesn't add up momentum wise. So I'm just saying, I don't know how you make this. How do you make twice the velocity into 4 times the energy? And how do you think that this distance traveled means anything? Because again, your whole formula, your whole MGH entirely gets a wrong answer if I give this an initial velocity. So if I give this an initial velocity of 50 miles an hour or whatever, 500 miles an hour, it's going to go through the gravity really fast, so it's not going to be 2 seconds to do this distance. It's going to be a microsecond to do this distance. And in that microsecond, it's only going to collect 0.0004 meters per second of velocity. It's not going to add any velocity at all to the object because it's not going to be in the gravity to do the collecting, because the gravity is 9.8 meters per 1 second. It's not seconds. Okay, it's 1 second. So I just don't understand how do you pervert this into anything else but a decisive argument saying, what the fuck are you talking about? How can this 1 unit of time end up being 3 units of energy? This is only 1 unit of energy. How could this be 3 units of energy? How's that possible? It's only 1 unit of time in the gravity. It's only 9.8. You see it right in the results. You're conceding it's only going to be going 19.6 meters per second. You're conceding it's only twice the velocity. How the fuck did it gain all of this extra power when it only got 1 unit of that 9.8? And every unit of the 9.8 is the same as any other unit of the 9.8. There's no difference between them. It's the same rain that you're collecting, okay? And you're just saying you're moving around faster in the rain. So what? It doesn't matter. It's about how much time. Time decides how much rain hits you. Nothing else. Time decides how much gravity you collect, how much energy from gravity, how much energy gravity causes. However, I have to describe it for you to understand. I mean, clearly I'm arguing you're collecting it from objects that are really hitting you, pretty much literally just like rain. So in this case, the water example is just like the reality. You're collecting momentum from the force. All right, and you're only in the force 2 units of time. You only got 2 units of energy. So where's your experiment? 300 years you've been claiming that these two things are the same energy. That twice the velocity of a half mass, a 1/4 mass. So even though it's only half the momentum, it's somehow twice the energy. The same amount of energy. So the momentum for this is twice the momentum for that when it hits the ground, and yet you're claiming it has the same amount of energy as this does, when it only has half the momentum. How can you stand on that nonsense as an argument? I'm just saying, how can any of you people deny, it can't work any other way? It's 1 unit of acquisition of acceleration, 1 unit of acceleration. It's only 2 units of acceleration. I need 4 units of acceleration to equal the 4 mass, momentum-wise. I can't possibly have the same momentum, so I can't possibly have the same energy. They can't possibly cause equal and opposite reactions when only has half the energy. Alright. Yeah, so maybe that's enough of a video. I'll think about it and see if there's anything else that needs to be said. Alright, might as well go over the funny parts. So the YouTube suggestion is, the AI. You can calculate that yourself. You've got all the right numbers. So obviously you don't have the right number. The second squared is just the game-changing, unuseful lie. There's no seconds squared. It's 9.813 meters per 1 second. It can't be 9.813 if it's any other number than 1 second. If it's any other number than 1 second, the 9813 has to change. Okay. Fact. Absolute fucking fact. Okay. So, and the other choice is, I'm not that smart. I probably should click on it just to see what the rest of that would be. This whole idea of answering with AI produced, it's just so, oh God, the internet's just getting so tacky. It's writing people's answers for them. Why don't they just let the computer troll me? Yeah, why do they do that? Yeah, let the AI, maybe these are AI accounts trolling. YouTube's just creating fake controversy everywhere by having little troll AI accounts, type shit. Ugh, disgusting. Let's see. So, no offense to this guy asking these idiotic questions, but yeah, frankly, look, if you're not going to be bothered to go look at some of the other videos explaining why I believe what I believe, then there's no real point. Just don't bother commenting. You got to have some kind of context. Responding to every word in every new video and saying, well, what's the context of that statement? What's the that's just bullshit, frankly. It's a waste of time, frankly, is what it is. I have some obligation to the audience not to be ludicrously redundant. Okay. So, Momentum is all there is. You can't calculate what happens. Okay, they say twice the compression equals 4 times the energy for some reason. Yeah, too silly. So you don't even know what the reason is. Yeah, I don't have any understanding whatsoever how 1 pound put on a scale is only 1 unit of energy, and a second pound put on a scale is now 3 added units of energy. And now I have 4 units of energy because that second one was worth 3 and the first one was only worth 1. Now, I have no idea how you make that make sense. You are arguing against something you don't understand. Yes, I don't understand idiots. And you're a fucking idiot. Ugh. Let's see. So this guy says, DraftScience, I bet you $5,000. I'll bring a small model and a wind tunnel. So this is the argument about the wind car. And, I had posted a comment. They're talking trash here. And so I just posted a comment. Your comments are just garbage accusations claiming an ignorance you don't prove exists. I have no obligation to defend myself against made-up crap. So keep doing it and I'll just block you. I have a couple of videos explaining the trick of the wind car. This exchange with the ultralight engineer, so that was Warbles on a lot, provides a pretty good summary. So, and I provide the link. And the argument was that what makes the experiment possible, the only thing that makes it possible, is being able to change the pitch on the blades. So yes, when the blades are flat, they're just a sail and you can push on them. But when you pitch them and they're turning because they're tied to the wheels, now it's basically a flywheel. And so it's a flywheel with a pitch, which means it's a fan. So you can have a little boost of energy, but yes, it's at some cost. So it can only give you a little boost of energy, and then it becomes a liability again, and you have to do something about it because it's just going to be catching wind again. So if you go back to the same pitch, you're going to be in trouble. You make the pitch this way, you're going to be in trouble. And that's what Veritasium experienced. You could see that he could turn the speed up, but when he did, it caused all kinds of instability in the car because the rotation speed of the fan isn't the same as the rotation speed of the wheels. So now the momentum of the car is still moving. It's getting pushed by the fan, but the wheels can't spin that fast. And so he's dragging basically his wheels with him. That kind of thing. Now, I'm sure that, if they really... I was a little surprised that they were using this kind of crude chain drive, and if they had a slip differential, I think they could probably maximize the function because they could only add energy to the wheels when it was positive rather than negative. But regardless, what's your point? So you want to bet me $5,000 you can go in the direction of the wind, not sideways, in the direction of the wind, faster than the wind without changing the pitch on the propeller, the fan. And my argument is no, you can't. It only works because you change the pitch on the blades of the fan. And if you can't do that, you can't gain anything. All right. So if you want to bet $5,000 on that, fine. I just don't know. You didn't say anything. Okay, I bet you $5,000. $5,000 for what point? The argument is that the most important feature is the fact that he had a dial, a mechanism for changing the pitch on the propeller, and he barely mentioned it in the video. That was the key feature. Without that feature, there wouldn't have been a video. That's the point. The whole thing is created by that circumstance. That your sail is harmless. It's just a sail, that is the propeller, when it's flat. And when you change the pitch and it's moving because it's tied by the momentum of the wheels, well, now it's a fan. Oh, shit. Shouldn't have to go over and over that. So the whole point is they were playing with treadmills, all kinds of bullshit ways of doing the experiment that create a whole bunch of fake momentum. And saying this simulates the experiment when those didn't simulate it at all because those experiments weren't changing the pitch on the propeller. And the only thing that made the real experiment, him really getting into the car and going a little bit faster than the wind, the only thing that made that possible was the fact that he could change the flat blades into pitched blades. And that's the only reason. I'll say it again. Okay. So yeah, I think that's enough of a video. I mean, I could just, just keep reciting, maybe I'll just make another video doing it, going through all of the experiments. The ballistic pendulum, 99.94% of the kinetic energy lost, unaccounted for. 99.94%. So something goes in with 2,000 joules and only 1.5 joules is collected. And they claim that the other 99.94% is somehow in the clay, but they don't prove it, or the gel, or whatever you collect the bullet with. So, I mean, all you have to do is show collecting kinetic energy somewhere, so show it. Again, that, 5 mass going 10 velocity crashes into 10 mass going 5. The 5 mass going 10 is supposed to have twice as much energy. When those two things hit, the collision isn't going anywhere. It's going to stay right there. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to show you that the 5 mass going 10 has twice the energy. No evidence whatsoever. Tug of war, same result. No evidence that there's twice as much energy. So I can go to the bowling ball thing. The lever is such a good example. The lever proves the lever gravity balance. Proves that a 1 mass going 4 velocity equals a 4 mass going 1 velocity. That momentums equal each other. That's what the energy is. The energy is cycling. The lever is oscillating hundreds of times. The same energy on one side that there is on the other side. One side has a 1 mass moving 4 velocity. The other side has a 4 mass moving 1 velocity, proving the equality. All right. Again, hundreds of years, and they can't link to a single clinical experiment showing kinetic energy working, doing work, transferred into an object. Not a single example. And a ton of examples showing momentum being conserved. All right. So I think that's enough now. Yeah. So what is this about nuclear electrons? So again, I should have deleted that one before. Obviously, like I said, Rutherford plainly stated that he believed there were electrons in the nucleus. Hardly a guy you should just dismiss as an idiot. Yeah, really. Ugh, so stupid. Alright, so enough of a video. So, till the next time, and such. So, probably I'll have to do try to do maybe a double slit video and go through all of the facts, that demonstrate. But I have done that already. I should find the videos. Well, I'll just do a new one, but I mean, there actually are like 25 good arguments to make. So I have to remember them all. Anyway, till the next time, and such and so forth and whatnot. Just hate it on this planet of lying scum.